we now put out a declaration, the Great Barrington Declaration, and we put it out this morning, and there are already over 500 medical and public health scientists who have co-signed, as well as over 500 practicing medical professionals.
Wow, okay. All right, I want people to understand that. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Kolber. I want people to understand this. Now, we're talking to three of the top epidemiologists. I know you guys are modest, but in the world, okay, the three of you. And you're all three saying this approach of locking down, rolling lockdowns does not work. And that is what is happening around the world and what, I'm sorry, is being planned if Biden wins the presidency. And Dr. Fauci actually spoke tonight on CNN and address this national strategy, which should be in place. And I'll let Dr. Gupta and Bhattacharya respond to it. Let's watch.
We need to flood the system with testing, surveillance testing, getting out there, getting into the community and finding out what the level of infection is in the community and doing it on a broad scale. Whether you do it in schools, whether you do it in colleges, whether you do it in factories, that's what we need to do.
Dr. Gupta, I want to go to you on that. So is broad surveillance testing in schools and universities, and I guess everywhere, is that really the way to proceed?
I don't think so. I think that's a very inefficient use of very limited resources that we have in that regard. And not only, when I say limited, not only do I refer to what we have at our disposal, but also I'm talking about how much we should invest in that process. Because what we really want to do is protect the vulnerable. So it makes every bit of sense to me that we would take those resources and use them to develop smart strategies to protect the vulnerable. And what's interesting here is by not testing those who are not vulnerable and allowing them to carry on with their lives, which testing frankly impedes, you actually allow that population to build up a level of immunity, which in turn protects the vulnerable. So it's a kind of win-win. Don't test them, let them live their lives, and let them build up the immunity that will eventually protect the vulnerables.
Dr. Bhattacharya, today, it was all day long, okay? I heard individual after individual, many of them medical professionals, scoffing at this idea of herd immunity or reaching a level of immunity that means generally you can open up everything and go on with life as we had it before, even understanding the danger of the virus. What about that and the Swedish experiment that everyone ridiculed, and even President Trump was kind of poo-pooing Sweden early on?
You know, I think denying herd immunity is like denying gravity. Gravity exists and herd immunity exists. Many infections and viruses and pathogens are controlled in the population by herd immunity. Even if you have a vaccine, it's still herd immunity that protects people against the virus or the pathogens. So denying herd immunity is like denying biology. It's just not right. The question isn't just about herd immunity, really. The question is, how do you safely get there? The focused lockdown strategy that we're proposing, where you protect the vulnerable and let people live their lives, will get us there more quickly with less loss of life and less damage to other aspects of public health that get ignored, I think, by these doctors that are essentially denying basic facts about biology. Instead, with this focused protection, you protect the vulnerable, you quickly build up immunity in the rest of the population, and that will save lives. Just one very important thing here is that the lockdown itself is not costless to life, and if you think about it, people have delayed cancer treatment. They've delayed going to the doctor because of even with severe heart disease. Parents have not vaccinated their children. There's going to be an increase in breast cancer rates, prostate cancer rates, because of basic screening hasn't been done. I think the lockdown costs will, even in the short and intermediate term, have larger and longer health consequences for the population than the focus protection plan, which both will reduce COVID deaths and also address many, many, many other public health foci that we just ignored.
But that's